Linguistics is the scientific study of language. There are many topics that fall under the umbrella of linguistics, such as the 5 components of language and how they interact with each other, how language is processed and stored in the brain, how language is acquired by young children, and how language influences the way in which we interact with each other and think about the world. However, during this video, I am going to talk about a subset of linguistics that has not yet been mentioned yet, and that is how language varies. The topic of language variation has interested me the most during this course, and I was able to personally connect to this topic in a variety of ways. I am going to begin by talking about a famous philosopher of language known as Paul Grice. Paul Grice is widely known for his development of the cooperative principle. This principle states that speakers in conversation should provide an appropriate amount of information, tell the truth, be relevant, and try to be as clear as they can. People must obey these maxims in order to enhance effective communication. However, there is a major criticism of this principle, and that is that this principle is not universal to language. While reading an article presented in this class, I learned that the Chinese language does not conform to the cooperative principle. The main reason why the Chinese language does not conform to the cooperative principle is that the Chinese possess a high-text culture. Within a high-text culture, few words can communicate a complex message very effectively. Therefore, the Chinese do not require nor expect in-depth or detailed responses within conversation. This type of conversation allows the Chinese population to effectively communicate, whereas in the English language, this type of conversation may break down. As a result, the cooperative principle is not universal to language because language varies from culture to culture. Language also varies based on your social status, which is the next topic I will be discussing in this video. While reading an article in class, I learned how language can vary based on high and low social status. A study was done to test the differential use of the R phoneme in high-ranked stores as opposed to low-ranked stores. The study was done on the employees of each store, as it is suggested that the employees borrow prestige from their customers. The results of this study showed clear stratification of the R phoneme within the high and low-ranked stores. Based on the findings of this research study, one can suggest that people of higher social status give complete responses, while people of lower social status give incomplete responses, often eliminating the final consonant. Therefore, language varies based on one's social status. The last social factor that contributes to the topic of language variation that I will be discussing is gender. There is no real answer to the question who talks more, men or women. The answer to this question is simply men and women have different ways of talking. Men tend to talk more in social settings such as school and business meetings, while women tend to talk more in household settings. Men and women simply represent different conversational styles, which results in language variation across gender. Not only did the topic of language variation interest me, I was also able to personally connect to it in a variety of ways. As a camp counselor this past summer, I experienced how language varies from culture to culture as I worked with people from all over the world. Each of my coworkers had different ways of speaking and conversing, which I had to adapt to in order to make new friends and effectively communicate with the people around me. I also experienced how language varies among social status while working in a retail store. I am able to see that people of higher social status give me complete responses, and people of lower social status give me incomplete responses, often deleting final consonants. As a student, I am able to see how language varies with gender. In the classroom, I feel that males participate more and present projects and assignments with ease. As a female, I am not completely comfortable with participating or presenting in front of the class. The social factors that contribute to language variation are also very important to me as a future speech-language pathologist. One may think that a client has a language disorder. However, the client's language may just be different due to their culture, social status, or gender. I am so thankful to have learned about the many factors that can cause language variation and hope that this knowledge will help me in my future endeavors in the field of speech pathology.